Hi friends, Coach Allie here. It is an absolutely gorgeous southern Utah winter day, which means the sun is shining and it's 60 degrees, which is amazing. I wanted to come on today and just give you guys a little bit of a message and a thought that might be of some use, might be helpful. So when we are struggling with chronic symptoms or chronic conditions, we have a tendency to want to avoid the discomfort. And of course, that's only human. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. And what happens, unfortunately, is when we start to have these sensations, feelings, or thoughts that we deem unacceptable or that they should not be happening or that they're a problem. So we'll take anxiety, for example. So if I feel anxious and I see that as a problem, and I essentially take actions to confirm to my brain that it is a problem. So I try to make it stop. I try to fix it. I try to get rid of it. I try to escape it. I do everything in my power to try to stop that experience of feeling anxiety. And the interesting thing here is that impulse makes perfect sense. Of course it does. But the way that the brain works is that we inadvertently are telling the brain that this is an experience, this emotion that we're feeling is not acceptable, that it's dangerous. Actually, what the brain hears when we are trying to avoid something or resist something, whether that's an internal experience or whether it's an external experience, but we're focusing on this internal struggle. So if our brain hears from us that that is something that we don't want, that that is something we're trying to avoid, that we are, attempting to escape it and fix it and control it and manage it, this signals to the brain that it's a threat. And so ironically, the paradox in all of this is that the way that the brain has evolved to protect us from danger is to initiate a protective response in our nervous system, which is most commonly known as fight or flight. I'm sure you've all heard of this. But when we are experiencing fight or flight, when we're in a state of fight or flight, part of the messaging that the brain uses to communicate with us is by our thoughts, emotions, and sensations. Anxiety being one of those emotions. Anxiety is there for a very well-meaning purpose. It's a biological response to danger. It is so that we will act. It is a sense of urgency to get us to do something, right? Because our brain has detected imminent danger. But with the case of this feeling that is just that, it is just an emotion, it is just a feeling that all human beings have. It isn't dangerous. But because we have told the brain we don't want to experience that, that is dangerous, it's a problem for us, then unfortunately what happens is the brain tags that as, okay, that's dangerous. So whenever that emotion comes up, I have to protect you from it. And the way it has of protecting us is to put us into a state of fight or flight because it's detecting danger. That's how this works. And now we're going to be experiencing more of the same thing that we're trying not to experience, because that's how the brain has to protect us. So it's a paradox for sure, and it's so counterintuitive to tell you that the best thing you can do to, show your brain that it's safe to experience everything that you might be experiencing within you that you are afraid of, including your emotions, including those intrusive thoughts, including different sensations that your body has of also warning you. This is all under that umbrella of threat physiology. So increased heart rate or heart palpitations, even dizziness, um, sweating, feeling nauseous. I mean, the list is really, really long of the physical sort of somatic symptoms that we can feel when we are in a state of fight or flight. But they're the same thing. They're just messages from the scared brain trying to get us to do something, to act, to get out of this situation. But here's the thing. It's not actually dangerous. And so until the brain learns that it's safe to experience all of these things that we're experiencing, whether that's our thoughts, our emotions, or our sensations, until the brain understands that all of these are safe, it's going to keep running the same program. It's going to keep looping that fear response. So to move through this, to actually kind of get rid of it, which is, I know, what everybody wants to do, we have to show the brain that it's safe. The brain has to learn a different way. It has to learn that this experience is uncomfortable, but it is safe. And it only does that by listening to how we are responding. So if we're responding to this experience of discomfort with something's terribly wrong, I have to fix this, I shouldn't be feeling this way, this means this, we give it all kinds of meaning and story, that just confirms to the brain that it's dangerous, and the loop continues and kind of gets stronger. And all of these things that we're trying to avoid, they come back more amplified, more intense. So if we can recognize, it's so cool because it's basic science, It's so cool because it's the neurology of our own brain. And it's not fun to walk through life being afraid of our own internal experience. I mean, that's just, nobody wants that, right? We want to feel safe. We want to feel okay. We want to feel intrinsically, inherently okay. And the way that we do that is by understanding how our brain works, how we can reshape our nervous system by teaching our brain a new way. And this goes into our behavior. We have to show it a new way. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to come on with a quick little thought for you today, a little longer than I expected, but I hope you're enjoying this season. I know it can be equal parts fun and also stressful. So take some time for yourself. That self-kindness and that self-care, that compassion, giving ourselves grace, the ease of which we go about living, that goes so far in communicating safety to our brain.